Happy Monday. Ready for some more math? We looked at those slides last week, worked really hard on equivalent fractions. We're going to kind of get back into the math unit that we've been using all year. And today we are composing fractions. It sounds like something you would do with music, doesn't it? You would compose. Well, we're composing and decomposing. So decomposing is when something gets smaller. Composing is when something gets bigger. And we're looking at the area model today to compare fractions. Now, after all that work we did last week, you can look at these fractions and you can go boom, boom, boom. I know the answer. And so if you want to do that today, that's fine with me. But we're supposed to know how to use the area model as well. So we'll look at these pictures, and some of you may rather draw a picture and help you see it. So we're going to do that on these. And so the first thing I want you to see is what composing means, because you'll need to know that word. And so composing the shaded fractions, if we take a look at these right here, we see 4 6. Here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. But it wants us to take these 4 6 or these 6 boxes and turn them into thirds. So here's 1/3, here's 1/3, and here's 1/3. Okay? So now, if this is 1/3, let me write this for you. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Looking at these boxes, then how many thirds are shaded in? 1/3, 2/3 are shaded in. Now, obviously, after all the work we did last week, you can go 6 divided by 2 is 3, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So hopefully you can do that. Hope that's the point of last week, to make it just a bit easier for you with practicing this every day. Let's look at this one now. 9/12. 9/12. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 12 shaded in. But it wants us to make this 12ths fourths. So that means 4 times 3 is 12. So we're going to get groups of 3 here. So here's 1/4, here's 1/4, here's 1/4, and here's 1/4. So if I was to write it above this, 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, we've got this much shaded of the whole rectangle. So we have 1, 2, 3/4 shaded in. Now you can divide. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So however you'd like to do this, you're welcome to do it today. As long as you can find the correct answer, that's fine with me. That's the most important thing. However, you do need to be able to be represented visually on the area model for the test. So make sure you just understand these pictures too. All right, 6/10 here. 6/10 is how many fifths? All right.
Braden Turner. Someone's here to pick you up. Braden Turner.
Sorry, guys. There may be lots of interruptions. I'm actually recording this on the day the power went out because I didn't have anything else to do before I left. So they're calling people to come to the office. So sorry if there's interruptions. All right. So 6/10 is how many fifths? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 10. 6/10. Let's divide it into fifths. Here's a fifth. I'm going to, instead of highlighting, I want to do it like this time. Oh, that was terrible. Sorry. All right. So 1/5, 1/5, 1/5. So these are all fifths if we look at it like this. All right. So how many fifths is that? That's 1/5, 2/5, 3/5. And we know 6 divided by 2 is 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5. All right. So let's look at these. If you want to draw the pictures, go for it. Let's just work on this. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 6 divided by 2 is 3. We see 1, 2, 3/4 if we divided it into fourths. 4, 6. We got 4 out of 6. 6 divided by, let me write that out, 2 is 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. We see 1, 2 thirds. If we looked at that picture as thirds. Okay, moving on. We got one more like this. 6 out of 8, but it wants us to do fourths. So 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. So 6/8 is the same as 1, 2, 3/4. Are you getting it? The pictures now. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 6 divided by 2 is 3. All right. You know these. I know you do. Now we've got to come up with our own equivalent fractions. And they're wanting us to make them smaller, okay? Use division and draw an area model. So Obviously, you can't draw an area model on your homework sheet, but if you want to do it, I'm going to do 2 examples of how you would do this. Or you could just divide. It's okay with me. So I want to draw 4/10 first off. Okay. Give me a second. All right. There's tenths, and I'm supposed to have 4/10. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4/10. Now I've got to come up with an equivalent fraction. So if I was to regroup this in pairs like this, let's see how many I would have. Okay, so if I did that, then I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it'd be 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, 1/5, and 4/10 would be equal to 1 2/5. Now, another way to think about that is 4 divided by 2, made 2 groups of it, is 2. 10 divided by 2, 2 groups of it, is 5. Okay, let me work one more example for you, and then we'll just look at some division. So 6/9. So let me make ninths here. All right, there's thirds, and there's ninths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm supposed to have 6/9. I'm going to do it backwards this time. I'm going to shade it in with my highlighter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6/9. Now, what can I divide both 6 and 9 by? Think of your factors. When we go back to factors, numbers that you can multiply together to get a number, we need to be able to divide 6 and 9 both. Can we divide 6 and 9 by 2? No, you can't divide 9 by 2, but you can divide them by 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So let's split this into thirds. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. Okay. So how many thirds do we have? 6/9 equals 1 2/3. 6/9 equals 2/3. All right. So I've worked a couple examples. There were a bunch of examples to begin with. Let's just look at dividing these now. Now, when we divide these, you might find that you can have more than one number that you can divide both by, and that's okay. So if I've got 4/8, they're both an even number. So I know I can divide both of them by 2. 4 divided by, really 2/2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So one equivalent fraction that I could have for 4/8 is 2/4. But I could have also divided 4/8 by 4, couldn't I? 4/4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So both of these answers would be right on your homework assignment for today. If you put either one of those, I would count them right on your assignment today. So as long as you can divide both the top and bottom by the same number, you're going to get it right. So let's look at this one. Here's another example, 12/16. Okay, I know that factors of 12 and 16, we have to think about what factors they have in common. They're both even, so we could divide by 2. That would work. So I'm going to divide both top and bottom by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 16 divided by 2 is 8. So that would be an answer that's correct on today's assignment. But what else could I divide both 12 and 16 by? Can anybody think of what it would be? How about divide both of them by 4? 12 divided by 4 is 3. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So I would also take 3/4 as an answer. Notice 3/4, 6/8, and 12/16. They're all equivalent fractions. They all equal the same amount. If we were to draw a picture, you would see it's the same amount shaded in. All right, let's look at 2 more, and then I'll let you get to your assignment for today. 12/20. Okay, so 12/20. Can you imagine drawing a rectangle and making 20 squares? That just gets confusing, doesn't it? So sometimes you might want to draw a picture. Sometimes you might just want to divide. Well, again, both 12 and 20 are even numbers. So if I want to just keep it simple, I can divide both of them.
Dismissed a little bit, 12:30, just like we normally do at 3 o'clock.
Sorry, guys.
We just moved it up 2.5 hours.
All right. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 20 divided by 2 is 10. So 6/10 is equivalent to 12/20. There's another number we can divide by, though. We can divide 12/20. We could do this one by 4, couldn't we? 12 divided by 4 is 3. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So 3/5 is also equivalent to 12/20 and 6/10. So either one of these would be correct on your homework today. And let's take 16/20 now. And we'll start off, we'll just divide both of them by 2 because they're both even numbers. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. 20 divided by 2 is 10. So that's an equivalent fraction to 16/20. Again, I can divide both of these by 4 again if I want to. 16 divided by 4 is 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So 4/5 would be an equivalent fraction to 16/20. So any of these, both of these answers rather, would be correct on your homework assignment. I have it set where it'll count both of them right. Okay? So that's what you're doing today. If you want to draw some pictures like I did here to help you figure it out, that's wonderful. The first half of your assignment will already have the pictures drawn for you, like these. All right. Remember, you're just dividing to compose fractions. You're taking these smaller pieces and you're making them into larger pieces. All right. I think you'll do well on this, especially after all the practice we did last week. Get to work on today's assignment. I'll see you later.